There are houses in the world that are not just homes for powerful people. Some of them are like small government fortresses. On the outside, they just look quiet and elegant. But behind these walls, there are security systems, armed guards, surveillance technology, and strict control that make it almost impossible for ordinary people to get close. But what kinds of houses are these? Who lives in them? And why are they so heavily guarded? That's what we're going to find out. But before we start the discussion, I'd like to ask you to leave a like and please subscribe to our channel. That would be a huge help for us content creators. So let's get started. Number 11, Rideau Hall in Canada. When you see Rideau Hall, you might think it's just a big old mansion surrounded by wide lawns and tall trees. But in reality, it's one of the most important official residences in all of Canada. It is located in Ottawa, and it is the official residence of the Governor-General of Canada. He is the official representative of the King of Canada. Many state events, meetings, ceremonies, and receptions for foreign dignitaries are held here. According to the official records of the Canadian government, the place was first built in 1838 as the private villa of the businessman Thomas Mackay. But later on, it became the official residence of the Governor-General after the Confederation of Canada was formed in 1867. Because of the sheer size of the property, it's like a small world set apart from the rest of the city. There are vast gardens, official halls, meeting areas, and places for state ceremonies. This is also where members of the royal family often stay when they visit Canada. It's not just an ordinary house. The security here is also extremely tight. According to official reports from the Office of the Secretary to the Governor-General, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or RCMP, helps guard the place. They are also responsible for protection services for important guests and officials. But we're not just talking about guards here. In recent years, the digital security of Rideau Hall has been further strengthened. According to speeches and official statements from the Canadian government, this includes cyber protection, surveillance systems, and digital fingerprinting to ensure the residence is safe against modern threats. And there's a reason why that's necessary. This isn't just some official's house. This is a place where ambassadors, world leaders, and people connected to the country's national security come. What's interesting here is that it's also partly open to the public. There are tours, ceremonial events, and public gatherings that people can attend. So the challenge for their security is how to balance being open to the public while keeping one of the most important residences in Canada safe. From the outside, Rideau Hall looks quiet. But behind that calm appearance, it's a highly protected government property that's guarded almost all the time. Number 10, Blair House of the United States. When a foreign president, king, prime minister, or other world leader visits America, they are not immediately brought to the White House. They are usually accommodated at Blair House. It is located right across from the White House in Washington, D.C. But don't be fooled by its appearance. Even though it looks like an elegant old house, it is one of the most secure guest residences in the world. According to the official website of Blair House, it was purchased by the U.S. government in 1942 and made the official guest residence of the President of the United States. This is where visiting heads of state stay. This is also where the president-elect temporarily stays before the inauguration. And because of the caliber of people who come here, ordinary security is not enough to surround this place. Honestly, it's almost like an extension of the White House security system. Blair House is not just a single house. It's a large complex made up of 4 interconnected townhouses. It has over 100 rooms, including guest suites, conference rooms, dining halls, and meeting areas. It's like a combination of a luxury hotel, diplomatic headquarters, and secure government offices. According to the United States Secret Service, they themselves provide protection for foreign leaders who are temporarily staying at Blair House. And think about this, when a world leader is here, they might be accompanied by intelligence officers, security teams, diplomats, and government staff. That's why every movement around the area is controlled. Ordinary people can't just get close here, especially when there's a high-profile guest. There is strict access control, surveillance cameras, armed security personnel, and hidden security measures that are not shown to the public. According to the official information from Blair House, more than 4,000 distinguished visitors from different countries pass through here every year. That's why it's no longer just a simple historic mansion. It has become an important part of the diplomatic and security system of the American government. From the outside, it just looks like a quiet and elegant building. But when a world leader is inside, it becomes one of the most closely guarded houses in all of Washington, D.C. Number 9, Observatory Circle. In America, there's a house that's not as famous as the White House. But even though it's not often seen on TV, it's one of the most important houses in the whole country. This is the official residence of the Vice President of the United States. It is located inside the United States Naval Observatory in Washington, D.C. And because it's on military property, it's harder to approach compared to an ordinary mansion in the city. According to the White House, this has been the official residence of the Vice President since 1974. At first glance, it just looks like a quiet old mansion surrounded by trees. But the importance of this house is on a different level. That's because the Vice President is the next in line to become president if an emergency happens to the current leader of America. This means that at any moment, the role of the person living here can change, and because of that, the security of this place can't be weak. This isn't just an official's house. It's part of what's called the continuity of government. In other words, even if there's a major crisis or emergency, the leadership of the government must continue, and the Vice President plays a big part in that. That's why this residence always needs to be ready for a quick evacuation, ready for emergency communication, and ready for any possible threat. According to the White House, the Vice President has their own protected transportation. When necessary, he also uses the government's special aircraft fleet known as Air Force 2 and Marine 2. This just shows how important the position of the person living here is. According to the United States Secret Service, they are responsible for guarding the vice presidential residence. This isn't just about having a guard at the gate. There are permanent security teams, armed personnel, surveillance systems, and tactical support units assigned to protect the entire place. And of course, many details about its security are not released to the public. You won't know where all the cameras are. You also don't know how many security layers are around it. And that's exactly why it's hard to break into. From the outside, it just looks like a quiet and elegant house from the 19th century. But behind that calm exterior, it's one of the most important protected residences in America. Number 8, 10 Downing Street in the United Kingdom. When talking about the most famous address in Britain, one of the first that comes to many people's minds is 10 Downing Street. This is the official residence and office of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And even though it looks small from the outside, it is one of the most important political buildings in Europe. According to the British government, this place serves 3 main functions. First, it is the residence of the Prime Minister. Second, this is where his official office is located. And third, this is also where the government of Britain receives world leaders and important guests. That's why this is not just an ordinary house. This is a place where some of the most important decisions in the country are made. What's interesting here is that the famous black door of number 10 looks simple, but according to the official history of the British government itself, the whole complex is actually bigger than what people see from the street. There are buildings connected at the back that the public doesn't immediately notice. And because of the importance of the place, security has been tight here for a long time. According to Britain's parliamentary records, access to Downing Street began to be tightened in 1973. Eventually, gates, barriers, and police control were put in place to limit who could enter. And there was a serious reason why they did that. In 1991, according to the official statement in the House of Commons, there was a mortar attack carried out against Downing Street. 3 mortars were fired from a van. One of them exploded behind number 10 and shattered some of the residence's windows. Because of that incident, security around the area was further strengthened. Access became more restricted. Police protection increased. And the entire street became more controlled. That's why even now, ordinary people can't easily get close to the Prime Minister's actual residence. On TV, it just looks like a simple house with a black door. But in real life, It's one of the most secure political addresses in the world. Number 7, Élysée Palace in France. In Paris, France, there's a very grand building that serves as the official residence of the country's president. This is the Élysée Palace, and even though it's called a palace, it's still one of the most heavily guarded homes of a world leader. According to the official website of the French presidency, there are permanent military and security forces assigned to protect the President of France all year round. This includes the Republican Guard, a special military unit that has long been responsible for guarding important places and officials in France. These are not just ceremonial guards standing for pictures. They are real security forces. According to official information from the French government, there are more than 200 military officers connected to the security operations of the presidency. They are the ones who help guard the palace, the staff, and the president himself. There are also close protection teams that are always ready to accompany the president and the first lady wherever they go. When a foreign leader visits France, the official welcome ceremonies are also held here. Here, you will see the following: soldiers, cavalry units, and military bands that look like something you only see in movies. But behind that grand ceremony, the real security of the place is extremely tight. That's because this is not just an ordinary palace. It is one of the centers of political power in France. And according to the French presidency, there are other secure residences used by the president and his family when they need a more private and safer place. This means that it's not just one building being guarded. The entire presidential residential system is protected by the French government. During the day, the Élysée Palace looks like an elegant tourist landmark. But if you look behind the ceremonial guards and the grand events, you'll see that this is one of the most protected residences of a head of state in all of Europe. Number 6, Arras and Wachtarane in Ireland. There are official residences in the world that look just like military bases, but there are also some that are the complete opposite. Quiet, lots of trees, wide gardens, and it looks just like a simple mansion in the middle of a park. One of the best examples of this is Arras on Wachtarane, the official residence of the President of Ireland. It is located inside Phoenix Park in Dublin, one of the largest public parks in Europe. At first glance, you wouldn't think that this is a highly protected government residence. But behind its quiet appearance, it is one of the most important houses in all of Ireland. According to the official website of the President of Ireland, this is not just a ceremonial building. It is the real home of the president and his family. At the same time, this is also where important state events, diplomatic meetings, and receptions for foreign leaders and ambassadors are held. That's why the place needs to balance being open to the public and being secure against any threats. The property is also very spacious. According to official information from the Irish government, it is surrounded by approximately 130 acres of parkland and gardens. This means that it's not just a single house being guarded here. The entire estate needs to be secured. This includes the vast lawns, pathways, trees, and the surroundings of the residence. The place also has a long history. According to official records, it was built in 1751. During the time of British rule in Ireland, it served as the residence of the British Viceroy. After Ireland became independent, it was made the official residence of the President in 1938. So aside from being the home of the President, it is also an important part of the country's history. And even though there are public tours sometimes, it doesn't mean you can just enter it easily. According to the official visitor guidelines, visitors need valid identification before they can enter. And if there's an important government activity or state event, tours can be canceled immediately, even at the last minute. This just shows that the residence is primarily a working government site before it is a tourist attraction. According to Ireland's public records, the Garda Security Forces and even the Department of Defense help with the security of the place. This means that both police and military support are connected to the protection of the residents. And even though not all the details of their security systems are made public, it's clear that this is a place tightly guarded. What's interesting here is that the quieter the surroundings look, the harder it is to guess how tight the security is inside. There are no huge walls like a fortress. There aren't any overly dramatic military vehicles out front. But that's exactly the reason why this kind of residence is effective. It looks like a peaceful mansion, but in reality, this is one of the most important protected houses in Ireland. Number 5, Government House Wellington in New Zealand. In New Zealand, there is a large residence that looks like a combination of a luxury mansion, government building, and historical landmark. This is Government House Wellington. This is one of the official residences of the Governor-General of New Zealand, the official representative of the King. Many state ceremonies, diplomatic events, and official government meetings are held here. And because the role of the Governor-General is important in New Zealand's constitutional system, the residence must always be prepared and secure. According to the official website of Government House, the Wellington residence is the main venue for guests attending events of the Governor-General. The entire property is also large. There are guest suites, offices, a ballroom, large gardens, and various areas for official functions. In other words, it's not just a simple house to live in, it's a working state residence. And because so many very important people come here, the security is also extremely tight. According to the New Zealand police, they have a dignitary protection service assigned to protect the Governor-General and the Prime Minister of the country. This means that security is a permanent part of the operation. It's not just done during emergencies. It's part of the residence's day-to-day operations. Even during public tours of the place, you can immediately see how strict the control over access is. According to the official tour guidelines, you need a reservation before you can enter. All adult visitors are also required to show identification upon arrival at the gate. There is also a separate entrance for official guests, visitors, staff, and delivery vehicles. This is done to properly control the movement of people around the property. And even though Government House Wellington looks elegant and quiet, it has many hidden security features. According to the official information from the residence, it even has a World War II-era bomb shelter within the grounds. So while the mansion looks classic and peaceful, it is also prepared for emergency situations. This is the kind of residence that doesn't need to look like a military fortress to be secure. It's quiet on the outside, but behind its elegant appearance, it is an important part of the government system of New Zealand. And because of that, it is also one of the most closely guarded official residences in the country. Number 4, the Astana in Singapore. In the middle of one of the busiest and most modern cities in Asia, there is a place that seems separated from the noise of the whole city. This is the Astana in Singapore. It is a very large presidential compound that serves as the official residence of the president of the country. But it's not only the president who is connected to this place. According to the official information from the Singapore government, the offices of the president and the prime minister are also located here. Many state events and important government functions are also held here. That's why this is not just a simple mansion for tourists to see. This is an active center of the Singapore government. The place also has a long history. During the time of British colonial rule, it was known as the Government House. But after Singapore gained self-government in 1959, it officially became the Astana. And until now, it remains one of the most important government properties in the country. One of the first things you'll notice here is the security. It's not hidden. You can immediately see the ceremonial guards at the main entrance standing watch all day. But according to the official records of the Singapore Armed Forces, these guards are not just for ceremonial purposes. They are specially trained military police personnel who undergo rigorous training before being assigned to the Astana. According to the official information from the government, there are also regular guard ceremonies held in the compound with a dozen guards and commanders. And even though the whole event looks elegant, it clearly shows that the security in the area is military style. The Astana is also not generally open to the public. According to the visitor guidelines on its official website, the public is only allowed to enter certain parts of the grounds a few times a year. And even on those days, security is still strict. Visitors use only one entrance. There are security checks before you can enter. There is a list of prohibited items, and there are parts of the compound that the public is strictly prohibited from entering. If you go out and want to come back in, you have to go through security inspection again. This just shows how strict the control is over the entire property, and it's not surprising why the security here is so tight. Singapore is one of the most important financial and political hubs in Southeast Asia. That's why any threat against its main leaders is a very serious matter for the government. What's interesting here is that even though it's in the middle of a modern city, the palace still feels like its own world. There are many trees, wide lawns, and the surroundings are quiet. But behind its peaceful appearance, this is one of the most heavily guarded official residences in Asia. Number 3, Moncloa Palace in Spain. In Madrid, Spain, there's a place that's not just the home of the Prime Minister. It's also an important command center of the government. This is the Moncloa Palace. According to the official website of the Spanish government, this has been the official residence of the Prime Minister of Spain since 1977. But the entire Moncloa complex is bigger than most people think. It's not just the Prime Minister's house that's here. It also includes the offices of the Presidency of the government, communication departments, and even Spain's national security operations. In other words, it's like a command center. It's a combination of a house, an office, and a government command center. And because of the amount of important work done here, it's only natural that security is extremely tight. According to official statements from the Spanish government, there is a dedicated security command center inside the Moncloa complex. Its job is to monitor the entire compound and coordinate security protocols for the Prime Minister. This means that there aren't just ordinary guards here. The entire place has its own security infrastructure. When the security of a residence reaches this level, it's no longer just an ordinary mansion. It's like a small government campus. There's control over people's movements, there are secure areas, and there's strict monitoring around the place. There are also times when limited public tours are allowed in some parts of Moncloa. But according to the official program of the Spanish government, this is only done on days when there are no important state events or government meetings. This means that all access is still controlled. Even if the public is sometimes allowed in, it is done on a strict schedule and under security rules. And that is exactly one of the biggest signs that a place is a heavily protected residence. On the outside, it just looks like a quiet and elegant government complex. But inside, it is one of the most important centers of political power in Spain. And because of that, it is also one of the most closely guarded residences of a world leader in Europe. Number 2, Palácio da Alvorada in Brazil. There are official residences that look like fortresses at first glance. The walls are high, there's a lot of steel, and the security is obviously tight. But the Palácio da Alvorada in Brazil is the opposite. At first glance, it looks very open and elegant. It's like a modern luxury mansion facing the water. But don't be fooled by its quiet and beautiful appearance. This is one of the most important presidential residences in South America. This is the official residence of the President of Brazil. It is located in Brasilia, the capital city of the country. According to the official website of the Brazilian government, this is the first major masonry building constructed in the city after Brasilia was made the new capital of Brazil. It is also one of the most famous modernist buildings in the world. It was designed by the renowned architect Oscar Niemeyer. The building is easily recognizable because of its long white columns and unique modern designs. But even though the architecture looks open and bright, the security around it is very strict. According to the official information from the Institutional Security Office of Brazil, there is a special security structure responsible for protecting the presidential palaces and the residences of the president and vice president. This means it's not just a simple mansion with guards at the gate. It's part of a much larger presidential security system for the entire country. This includes guarding against any threats or possible attacks. And even though the government doesn't reveal all the details about its security, it's clear that the entire compound is permanently protected. There are also ceremonial guards present at some official events. According to the Brazilian government, this includes the Presidential Guard Battalion and other military units responsible for the changing of the guard ceremonies at the presidential palaces. But this is not just a simple show for tourists, it is really part of the actual security operations. While the reflection of the palace on the water looks beautiful and peaceful, there is a whole system of protection hidden behind it. And because this is the residence of the president of Brazil, you can't just approach or enter the place. It looks like an elegant modern mansion, but in reality, it's one of the most heavily guarded houses in South America. Number 1, Rashtrapati Bhavan in India. When you see Rashtrapati Bhavan, it doesn't look like an ordinary house anymore. It looks more like its own small city. And because it's so huge, it's hard to believe that this is just the official residence of the President of India. According to the official website of the Indian government, the entire estate covers an area of approximately 330 acres. The main building itself has more than 340 rooms across 4 floors. In other words, this is no ordinary presidential mansion. It is a massive government estate in the heart of India's capital city. It is located on Raisina Hill in New Delhi, and because this is where the President of India lives, it is one of the most important and highly protected places in the entire country. The place also has a long history. Its construction began in 1912 after the British Empire moved the capital of British India from Kolkata to Delhi. The building was completed in 1929 during the time of British rule. It served as the residence of the British Viceroy in India. But after India became independent, it became the official residence of the country's president, and while the meaning of the place has changed, its size and importance have remained. This is where the President of India receives world leaders. This is also where major ceremonies and important state functions are held. And as the Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Armed Forces, the President is also connected to the country's military system. That's why this residence requires more than just simple security. A simple gate and a few guards are not enough here. The entire estate needs to be controlled, including the gardens, ceremonial areas, offices, hallways, and the movement of staff and visitors. One of the most important security units connected to this is the President's Bodyguard, or PBG. According to the official information of the Indian Army, this is the oldest cavalry regiment in the entire Indian Army. They are often seen at ceremonies while riding horses and in formation, but they are not just for ceremonial display. They are also an active military unit connected to the protection of the president, and that is one of the most interesting parts of Rashtrapati Bhavan. Here, history, military tradition, and modern security are all combined. On TV and in pictures, you can see the grand architecture and vast gardens. But behind its elegant appearance, it is a highly controlled government complex. There is a strict access system. Visitor schedules are tightly controlled, and there are different parts of the estate that the public can't easily access. According to the official information from the Presidency of India, a large working institution is also based right at the residence. It's not just the president who is here. Along with staff offices, documents, state operations, and diplomatic activities. That's why Rashtrapati Bhavan doesn't just protect people. It also protects the entire operation of the Presidency of India. And because of that, it is one of the most heavily guarded residences of a world leader in all of Asia.